chosen one. You are not here by accident. You did not stumble into this moment by chance, curiosity, or routine. Heaven has ordered this exact intersection in time because your spirit is ready to hear what is about to be released. Something has been stirring within you, a quiet knowing, a holy pressure, a sense that your season is shifting, and that is because it is. This is divine timing, orchestrated beyond the visible, aligned in the unseen. Chosen one, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural breakthrough. What has been delayed is about to accelerate. What was hidden is about to surface. What you carried in faith through seasons of silence is now being answered with movement, provision, and elevation. Scripture reminds us that the vision awaits an appointed time, and though it tarries, it will surely come, as written in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. That appointed time is now pressing into your life. Anointed one. This is not just about finances, it is about assignment. A great transfer of wealth is approaching because heaven trusts your heart, your integrity, and your obedience. God does not release resources without purpose, and you have been prepared for this moment. As you listen, let your spirit open, let expectation rise. What follows is not information, it is activation. Heaven is speaking, and your season is changing. Chosen one. The signs have been surrounding you quietly, persistently, sometimes so subtle that only your spirit could recognize them. Sudden opportunities appearing where there were none. Unexpected changes disrupting routines you once depended on. Doors closing without explanation, while others open effortlessly, almost mysteriously. These are not random fluctuations of life. These are confirmations. This is how heaven signals that a season has ended and another has begun. I have lived through this kind of transition myself, when what once felt stable started to feel misaligned, when comfort began to lose its peace. At the time it felt unsettling, but looking back, every closed door was mercy, every disruption was direction. Chosen one. Your season is shifting. You are stepping into a new realm of abundance, purpose, and responsibility. And I want to be very clear with you, because clarity is protection. This is not only about money. Wealth is simply the visible expression of something deeper that is happening first in the unseen. Before anything changes in your bank account, your business, or your resources, something shifts in your spirit. This is how it has always worked. Scripture reminds us that what is seen was made from what is unseen. And so if you are sensing movement internally, if something in you feels awakened, restless, expectant, that is because the transfer has already begun at the spiritual level. Chosen one. Many people miss this moment because they are waiting for physical proof before they believe. But those who are chosen learn to recognize heaven's movement before the manifestation arrives. I remember a season in my own life where nothing on the outside looked promising. Bills were due, progress was slow, yet inside there was a calm that did not match the circumstances. That calm was not denial, it was preparation. That is the same peace you are feeling now. It is the Spirit whispering, "This is temporary. Be ready." That inner knowing is not imagination, it is alignment. One of the first signs that the great transfer is approaching is this unshakable inner certainty. You cannot fully explain it to others. You may not even have words for it yourself. But deep down you know. It feels like standing on the edge of something significant, something holy. It is the same kind of knowing described when the vision waits for its appointed time, written in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. It does not rush. It does not panic. It arrives exactly when you are ready to carry it. And chosen one, that time is drawing near for you. Along with this knowing often comes divine discontent. Things that once satisfied you no longer do. Work that once felt meaningful now feels empty. Conversations that once energized you now drain you. This can feel confusing, even painful, especially when others around you seem comfortable staying where they are. But hear me clearly. Discontent is not rebellion. It is elevation. It is heaven loosening your grip on what cannot go with you into the next season. I remember having to walk away from situations that made sense on paper, but felt wrong in my spirit. At the time, it felt like loss. Later, I realized it was protection. Chosen one. The old must fall away so the new can enter. This is not punishment. It is preparation. Abundance requires capacity, and capacity is created by release. That is why you are being stripped of habits, mindsets, and even relationships that no longer align with who you are becoming. This is how you are prepared to carry wealth with wisdom, not desperation. You may also be noticing patterns and synchronicities that you cannot ignore. Repeating numbers, timely conversations, messages that seem to find you at the exact moment you need them. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. When you see these alignments, especially during moments of doubt or decision, it is heaven saying, you are on the path. Stay alert. Do not obsess over the signs, but do not dismiss them either. They are markers, not the destination. Another powerful sign is sudden clarity. Ideas begin to flow. Solutions surface unexpectedly. You may wake up with insight about a problem that has followed you for years. These are not random thoughts. These are instructions. And this is where many chosen ones hesitate. They wait for the idea to feel perfect before acting, but the transfer does not move through perfection. It moves through obedience. Write the ideas down. Take the small steps. The path often reveals itself only after movement begins. Chosen one, I want you to hear this with your spirit, not just your ears. What you are experiencing right now is not chaos. It is convergence. Everything you have lived through, the delays, the disappointments, the silent prayers, are converging into this moment. And in the next part, I am going to show you why the chosen ones are the only ones trusted to carry this transfer, and why your entire life has been preparing you for what is about to unfold. Chosen one. You must understand why this transfer is not random and why it is not falling into just any hands. Heaven does not release weighty blessings without first shaping the vessel that will carry them. And this is where your story begins to make sense. The struggles you endured were not signs of being overlooked. They were signs of being trained. The delays were not denials. They were divine recalibrations. Everything that once confused you was quietly preparing you. From the beginning, you were different. You noticed it early on, even if you could not name it. You never fully blended in. You questioned things others accepted blindly. You felt deeply, carried empathy, and often bore responsibility that was heavier than your years. While others moved through life untouched, you were pressed, refined, and stretched. That was not cruelty. That was calling. Wealth without character destroys, but wealth with wisdom multiplies. Heaven has been cultivating wisdom in you long before resources ever arrived. Chosen one. Many people want abundance, but few can sustain it. That is why so many rise quickly and fall just as fast. But you have been built differently. You learned endurance in seasons where nothing moved. You learned discipline when you had to stretch little into enough. You learned humility when recognition did not come. You learned faith when logic failed. These lessons were not optional, they were required. Because what is coming to you is not light, it carries weight, and weight demands strength. I remember a season when I prayed for increase, yet everything around me seemed to shrink. Opportunities disappeared. Support faded. At the time it felt like loss. But later I realized something profound. If the blessing had come, then it would have crushed me. My mind was not ready. My boundaries were not strong enough. My discernment was still developing. Heaven withheld not to punish, but to protect. And chosen one, the same was true for you. This is why you are set apart. You were not built to chase wealth blindly. You were shaped to steward it. Stewardship is not about how much you have. It is about how you carry responsibility. You have always felt the pull to do things with integrity, even when cutting corners would have been easier. You felt uneasy when something benefited you at the expense of others. That sensitivity is not weakness. It is qualification. Heaven entrusts resources to those who can hold them without being consumed by them. Chosen. One another reason you are chosen is your awareness. While many pursue money as an identity, you understand that wealth is a tool. You know that abundance without purpose feels empty. You have seen people with everything still feel hollow. That understanding did not come from books alone. It came from observation, from disappointment, from realizing that fulfillment does not come from possession, but from alignment. This awareness sets you apart. You are not meant to hoard. You are meant to channel. This is why you often feel called to help, to uplift, to contribute. Even when you had little, you gave. Even when you were tired, you showed up. Even when no one noticed, you stayed faithful. That generosity of spirit is not accidental. It is the reason wealth can flow through you without poisoning you. Heaven does not release abundance into hands driven by ego. It releases it into hands shaped by service. Timing is another critical reason you are chosen. You are stepping into a moment in history where old systems are breaking down. You can see it everywhere. Institutions once considered unshakable are trembling. Economic structures are shifting. What worked for generations no longer holds. This is not chaos alone. It is transition. When old containers crack, new ones are required. And chosen one, you are one of those new vessels. The transfer is not merely financial, it is spiritual. It is a redistribution of influence, opportunity, and responsibility. Resources are moving away from misuse and toward alignment. That is why you were trained through scarcity. Scarcity taught you value. Lack taught you management. Waiting taught you patience. These lessons make you the right steward for what is coming. Your vision also sets you apart. While others see obstacles, you see possibilities. Where others stop, you imagine alternatives. This is not just creativity. It is perception. It is the ability to see beyond the surface into what could be. Many of the ideas stirring inside you now are not random. They are previews. They are seeds. They are glimpses of what you will soon be called to build, support, or lead. Chosen. One, humility has been one of your greatest protections. Even as you grow, you remain teachable. Even as you succeed, you remain grounded. You ask questions. You listen. You reflect. Pride shuts doors. Humility opens them. This posture has preserved you. It has kept your heart flexible and your spirit receptive. And this is why favor follows you quietly. Courage is another mark. You have stepped forward when fear told you to retreat. You have taken risks others avoided. But your courage is not reckless. It is rooted in trust. You do not move blindly. You move prayerfully. You move thoughtfully. You move with an inner assurance that you are guided even when the path is unclear. This balance is rare, and it is necessary for what lies ahead. Chosen one. Your calling is generational. This transfer is not just about your comfort, it is about legacy. The decisions you will make, the structures you will build, the resources you will manage, will echo beyond your lifetime. That is why your preparation has been intense. You were not being delayed. you were being fortified. And in the next part, I will speak to you about the three forces that determine whether this transfer is merely received or fully sustained: faith, alignment, and action. Because what is coming to you must not only arrive, it must endure. Chosen one. Now we must speak plainly about what determines whether this great transfer merely visits your life or becomes established within it. There are three forces that must move together in harmony for the promise to mature fully: faith, alignment, and action. These are not abstract ideas, they are living principles. When one is missing, the flow weakens. When all three are active, the transfer accelerates. Let us begin with faith, because faith is always the foundation. Faith is not optimism, and it is not denial. Faith is the quiet confidence that remains steady when evidence is absent. It is the ability to stand firm when nothing around you confirms what you know inside. Many people think faith is loud declarations, but true faith is often silent endurance. It is waking up and continuing when you feel tired. It is trusting timing when impatience presses in. It is holding the vision even when others misunderstand you. Chosen one. You have already been walking by faith longer than you realize. Every time you kept going without reassurance, faith was active. Every time you chose integrity over shortcuts, faith was working. Every time you believed there was more for you while circumstances said otherwise, faith was shaping you. This is why you survived seasons that would have broken others. Faith sustained you when logic could not. But hear this clearly: faith is not passive. Faith prepares. If you truly believe rain is coming, you do not stand still. You prepare the ground. In the same way, if you believe the transfer is approaching, you prepare your inner world. Faith changes how you speak. It changes how you think. It changes how you respond to pressure. You stop speaking in defeat. You stop rehearsing lack. You stop making decisions rooted in fear. Faith trains your mind to agree with what heaven has already decided. Now let us speak about alignment, because faith without alignment creates frustration. Alignment is when your inner beliefs, your daily habits, and your spiritual posture move in the same direction. Many people pray for abundance while living in contradiction. They desire increase but hold on to scarcity thinking. They ask for more but mishandle what they already have. Alignment is the work of bringing everything into harmony. Chosen one. Alignment always begins internally. You cannot attract expansion while your inner dialogue is still rehearsing limitation. If you constantly tell yourself that wealth is for others, that you always fall short, that nothing ever works out for you, you are resisting what you are asking for. These beliefs act like invisible walls. They do not stop heaven's ability, but they restrict your capacity to receive. Replacing these beliefs is not shallow positivity. It is spiritual realignment. You are agreeing with truth instead of past wounds. You are choosing to speak life where fear once lived. When your words change, your energy shifts. When your energy shifts, your decisions change. And when your decisions change, your reality begins to follow. Alignment also shows up in how you handle responsibility. If you are praying for increase but avoiding discipline, something is out of order. Stewardship is spiritual. Managing time, money, and energy with care is not separate from prayer. They are connected. Heaven tests with small things before releasing larger ones. If you are careless with little, you will feel overwhelmed by much. I have seen this repeatedly. People receive sudden opportunities and lose them because they lacked structure. But you, chosen one, have been trained differently. You learned to plan when resources were limited. You learned to be intentional when options were few. Those habits matter now. They are signs of alignment. Timing is another part of alignment. There is a divine season for every release. When you try to force what is not ready, you exhaust yourself. When you wait beyond your moment, you miss momentum. Alignment teaches discernment. It teaches you when to pause and when to move. And when you are aligned, you feel peace even in uncertainty, because you trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. Now we come to action, the most misunderstood pillar. Action is where faith becomes visible. You can believe deeply and be perfectly aligned, but without movement, nothing changes. Action is the signal that tells heaven you are ready to participate in what has been promised. Chosen one action does not always look dramatic. Often it begins small. Researching an idea, making a phone call, writing a plan, learning a new skill. These steps may feel insignificant, but they are powerful. The universe responds to movement. Momentum is created when faith steps forward, even before clarity is complete. Many chosen ones delay action, waiting for certainty. They say they will move when fear disappears, when resources increase, when conditions improve. But growth does not wait for comfort. The perfect moment rarely arrives. The path reveals itself as you walk it. There is a principle that says faith without works is lifeless. This does not mean striving, it means responding. When you act on what you know, even imperfectly, you activate flow. Doors open after movement, not before it. Guidance becomes clearer once you step forward, not while you remain still. Obedience is a crucial part of action. Sometimes you will be prompted to do things that do not make sense logically, to give when it feels risky, to leave something familiar, to pursue an idea that feels too big. These moments are not tests of intelligence, they are tests of trust. Obedience unlocks what logic cannot. Chosen one. These three forces are not separate paths, they are one system. Faith fuels alignment. Alignment directs action. Action strengthens faith. When one weakens, the whole flow slows. But when all three are active, the transfer accelerates naturally. I want you to pause and reflect honestly. Where is your faith strong but your action delayed? Where is your action busy but your alignment off? Awareness is not condemnation. It is invitation. Begin where you are. Strengthen what is weak. Adjust what is misaligned. Take one intentional step. In the next part, we will go deeper into the spiritual and practical path of receiving wealth, because what is coming to you must not only arrive, it must be sustained. Chosen one. Now we must speak about the path itself, because wealth does not arrive randomly and it does not remain without structure. It flows along a path that is both spiritual and practical. Many people lean heavily to one side and neglect the other. Some are deeply spiritual but avoid responsibility, discipline, and planning. Others are practical and ambitious but disconnected from inner guidance and higher purpose. Both paths alone are incomplete. What is coming to you requires balance. Everything begins in the unseen. Before wealth takes form in your hands, it must take shape in your inner world. Your thoughts, beliefs, and emotional patterns are not neutral. They are creative forces. You are constantly shaping your future by what you allow to live within you. This is why the preparation you have been going through has been so internal. Heaven was not only changing your circumstances, it was reshaping your inner environment. Chosen one. Abundance begins with gratitude. Not forced gratitude, not pretending everything is fine, but real recognition of what has already carried you this far. Gratitude shifts your posture from lack to expectancy. I remember seasons where I had very little materially, yet the moment I began to genuinely honor what I did, have clarity followed. Not instantly, but steadily. Gratitude does not deny struggle. It acknowledges provision within it, and that acknowledgement opens the door for more. Another spiritual practice that prepares you for wealth is vision. You must be able to see yourself in the life you are being prepared for, not in fantasy, but in felt reality. Close your eyes and imagine stability. Imagine freedom. Imagine having enough to breathe, to give, to build. Do not just see images. Feel the peace. Feel the security. Feel the responsibility. This emotional alignment matters. When your nervous system becomes familiar with abundance, you stop sabotaging it when it arrives. Prayer and stillness are also essential. Prayer aligns your desire with divine wisdom. Stillness allows you to hear guidance that noise drowns out. Many answers you are seeking will not come through effort alone. They will come through listening. I have seen some of the most important directions arrive in moments of quiet, not urgency. When you slow down internally, clarity accelerates externally. Chosen one giving is another spiritual law that cannot be bypassed. You cannot receive freely if you refuse to release. This does not mean reckless generosity. It means intentional flow. When you give with wisdom and an open heart, you create circulation. Stagnation breaks when flow begins. Holding tightly out of fear sends a message of mistrust. Giving from alignment sends a message of readiness. Forgiveness is also part of the spiritual path. Unforgiven wounds drain energy. Resentment ties your future to your past. I have watched people delay their own breakthroughs because they carried old bitterness like a shield, not realizing it was a cage. Forgiveness is not about excusing harm. It is about reclaiming your power. When you release what hurt you, you free space for what is meant to bless you. Now, chosen one, we must speak about the practical path, because spiritual readiness alone is not enough. Heaven does not pour abundance into chaos. Preparation is proof of readiness. Start with stewardship. How you manage what you have now reveals how you will manage more. Even if what you have feels small, treat it with care. Respect creates increase. Budgeting, planning, tracking, and intentional spending are not just financial tools. They are spiritual disciplines. They teach order. They teach awareness. They teach responsibility. Many people pray for overflow while living without structure, but structure is what holds overflow safely. When you show that you can manage wisely, capacity expands. Education is another key. Opportunities will come, but knowledge determines whether you can sustain them. Learn about money, learn about business, learn about investing and systems. You do not need to master everything overnight, but you must be willing to grow. Sudden wealth without understanding often disappears quickly. Preparation preserves what arrives. Your skills also matter. Wealth often flows through what you are called to do. Identify what you are naturally good at. Develop it. Refine it. Offer it with excellence. When your work is aligned with your gifts, provision follows more naturally. This is not about hustling endlessly. It is about working in alignment. Relationships are part of the practical path as well. The right connections open doors that effort alone cannot. Be intentional about who you allow close. Surround yourself with people who value growth, integrity, and purpose. Relationships built on mutual respect and shared values become bridges for opportunity. The universe often moves through people. There will also be moments that require risk. Calculated, prayerful risk. Growth demands movement beyond comfort. You may be prompted to start something, invest, or shift direction. Fear will speak loudly in these moments. But fear is not a reliable guide. Discernment is. Seek wisdom, then move. Remaining stagnant guarantees nothing changes. Balance is the key, chosen one. Spiritual alignment without action creates waiting without manifestation. Action without spiritual grounding creates exhaustion without fulfillment. When you combine both, flow begins. You move with purpose instead of pressure. You act with clarity instead of anxiety. Persistence will be required. The path is rarely linear. There will be setbacks, delays, adjustments. These are not signs of failure. They are refinements. Seeds do not sprout the day they are planted. Trust the process. Stay consistent. Stay grounded. Keep your motives clean. Wealth is a tool, not an identity. If your focus becomes ego or comparison, the flow weakens. But when your intention remains service, freedom, and impact, provision continues to increase. Chosen one. The steps you take now are shaping the container that will hold what is coming. This is not about rushing, it is about readiness. Walk faithfully in the unseen. Act wisely in the seen. When both paths merge, you become a stable vessel for abundance. And in the next part, I will speak to you about why now is the appointed time and why everything you are witnessing in the world and in your life confirms that this moment has arrived. Chosen one. Now we must speak about timing, because timing is everything. You may have asked yourself many times, why now, why after all these years? Why not earlier, when I was struggling the most? These are not wrong questions. They are human questions, and they deserve an honest, grounded answer. What you are stepping into is not delayed. It is appointed, and an appointed time does not arrive when it is convenient. It arrives when alignment is complete. Everything happening in your life right now is part of a larger design. This message reaching you at this moment is not coincidence. It is confirmation. We are living in a season of transition, not only personally, but globally. Systems that once appeared stable are cracking. Economic models, institutions, and structures that people relied on for security are shifting. This is not simply chaos. It is exposure. What was built on imbalance cannot hold forever. Chosen one. The shaking you see in the world is the same shaking you once felt internally. Before your life began to change, something in you had to be unsettled. Old beliefs were challenged. Comfort zones collapsed. Certainty faded. At the time, it felt destabilizing. Now you can see it was preparation. The same pattern is unfolding on a larger scale. The old era is losing its grip, and space is being made for something new. There is a principle that says, when what is misaligned is shaken, only what is true remains. That is what is happening now. Resources are being repositioned. Influence is shifting. Opportunities are moving toward those who can carry them responsibly. This is the environment where transfer occurs, not in comfort, but in transition. Chosen one. Many spiritual teachings have spoken of a season when those who endured quietly would be elevated openly, a time when what was stored up would be released suddenly. This is not mythology, it is pattern. You may have heard the phrase that the wealth of the unjust is laid up for the righteous. But that statement is not about morality alone, it is about stewardship. Resources move toward alignment. Look at your own life. Notice how things have been rearranging. Relationships ended that once defined you. Paths closed that you thought were permanent. Directions shifted without warning. These were not punishments, they were repositionings. You were being moved into place. Like pieces on a board, every move was intentional. You may not have seen the full picture, but the strategist did. I remember a time when multiple things fell apart at once. Work, relationships, plans. It felt like loss stacked on loss. Only later did I realize that staying where I was would have limited what I was meant to carry next. What felt like collapse was actually extraction. I was being pulled out of something too small for what was ahead. Chosen one, you have lived through a similar extraction. Another reason now is the appointed time is collective readiness. Over the past few years, something has shifted in human consciousness. People are questioning systems that once went unchallenged. They are seeking meaning beyond survival. They are becoming aware that wealth without purpose leaves emptiness. This awakening creates a different environment. When consciousness rises, new forms of abundance become possible. This is why you may have noticed an increase in your own sensitivity, stronger intuition, vivid dreams, a deeper awareness of energy timing and alignment. These are not random developments. They are signs that the boundary between the unseen and the seen is thinner now. Guidance is clearer. Instruction is more direct. Those who are listening receive advantage. Acceleration is another marker of appointed time. In earlier seasons, progress was slow. Effort yielded little. Now movement happens faster. Conversations lead to opportunities quickly. Ideas gain traction sooner. Decisions create momentum instead of resistance. This is not coincidence. It is compression. Time feels faster because preparation is complete. The seeds you planted years ago are reaching maturity. Not just financial seeds, but seeds of discipline, integrity, patience, and resilience. You sowed when nothing seemed to grow. You remained faithful when no reward was visible. That sowing did not disappear. It was stored, and now it is being released in concentrated form. You may still wonder why the waiting lasted so long. The answer is readiness. If abundance had arrived before your inner world stabilized, it would have magnified insecurity. If influence had arrived before humility settled, it would have amplified ego. Timing protects both the blessing and the bearer. Delay was not rejection. It was refinement. Chosen one. There is also a global dimension to this moment. Old economic systems built on exploitation are being exposed. This exposure creates instability, but it also creates opportunity. New structures must be built. New leaders must rise. New stewards are required. Those stewards are not chosen randomly. They are chosen through endurance. This is why you were trained in isolation, why you learned to stand alone, why you became self-aware instead of dependent on external validation. While others chased shortcuts, you learned principles. While others relied on systems, you learned adaptability. These traits are essential now. You are being called not just to receive, but to help build what comes next. To invest wisely, to create ethically, to lead responsibly. The wealth coming to you is not only personal provision, it is building material, and your past prepared you to handle it without losing yourself. Favor is another confirmation of timing. You may notice help arriving unexpectedly, support showing up without request, doors opening with little effort. This is not luck, it is alignment. When timing meets readiness, resistance decreases. Chosen one. The appointed time is not approaching, it has arrived. The signs are everywhere, in the world, in your life, in your spirit. The restlessness you feel is not anxiety, it is anticipation. Something old has ended, something new is beginning. In the next part we will speak about warnings and wisdom, because what is entrusted must be protected. Blessing requires vigilance, and wisdom ensures what arrives remains. Chosen one, as this great transfer begins to move closer to your life, it is essential that we speak not only about promise, but about protection. Blessings do not arrive without responsibility. Increase demands awareness. What is coming to you is valuable, and anything of value must be guarded with wisdom. This is not a message of fear. It is a message of preparation so that what is released into your hands can remain there and multiply. The first area that requires vigilance is your inner posture. Wealth has a way of amplifying what already exists within a person. If humility is rooted in you, abundance will expand generosity, clarity, and purpose. But if ego is left unchecked, wealth will magnify pride, impatience, and recklessness. This is why your character was refined before your resources increased. You were trained through obscurity to remain grounded. Do not abandon that posture now. Ego is subtle. It rarely announces itself. It whispers instead. It tells you that you no longer need counsel, that you earned everything alone, that correction is unnecessary. These thoughts are dangerous because they separate you from guidance. Everything flowing to you has a source beyond your effort. Remembering that truth keeps you aligned. Gratitude protects you. Humility preserves you. Discernment is the next safeguard. As your life expands, so will your visibility. As resources increase, so will attention. Not every opportunity presented to you will be aligned with your purpose. Not every person who approaches you will have clean motives. Some will be drawn to what you carry, not who you are. This is not cynicism. It is realism. Chosen one, learn to pause before deciding. Learn to sit with an offer instead of rushing into it. Discernment grows in stillness. When something feels pressured, urgent, or emotionally manipulative, step back. True alignment does not demand haste. It brings peace, even when it stretches you. Your intuition will sharpen as you continue to practice stillness and reflection. Trust it. Boundaries are another essential form of wisdom. Your heart is generous by nature. You feel called to help, to give, to uplift. This is beautiful. But generosity without boundaries becomes depletion. Not everyone is ready to receive what you offer. Giving to those who refuse responsibility can drain your energy and derail your assignment. Empowerment and enabling are not the same. Wisdom knows the difference. Protect your time as carefully as you protect your money. Energy is currency. Attention is currency. Where you invest them determines what grows. You are not required to be available to everyone. You are responsible for stewarding yourself well. Rest is not laziness. Privacy is not selfishness. Boundaries are not rejection. They are preservation. Stewardship must also be addressed clearly. What is coming to you is more than finances. It is influence, responsibility, and reach. Without systems, even the greatest blessing can slip away. Learn to plan. Learn to organize. Learn to seek wise counsel. This does not mean outsourcing your authority. It means honoring wisdom. Surround yourself with advisors who align with your values, not just your ambition. Comparison is another quiet threat. In a world saturated with curated success, it is easy to measure your journey against others. But your assignment is unique. Your timing is specific. The form your blessing takes will not mirror anyone else's. Comparison creates pressure that leads to poor decisions. Stay in your lane. Focus on your path. When you honor your own process, growth remains steady. Fear disguised as caution is another trap. As you expand, voices will rise, some external, some internal, warning you to play small. While wisdom encourages discernment, fear encourages retreat. Learn to distinguish between the two. Wisdom invites evaluation, then movement. Fear invites delay, hesitation, and shrinking. You were not prepared to hide. You were prepared to lead. Maintaining spiritual practices becomes even more important as success increases. When life becomes busy, it is tempting to abandon what once grounded you. Prayer, reflection, journaling, gratitude. These are not optional habits. They are anchors. Many lose clarity after their breakthrough because they stop doing what kept them aligned. Do not make that mistake. Stay rooted as you rise. Privacy is also wisdom. Not every plan needs to be announced. Not every victory needs to be shared. Noise invites interference. Move quietly when necessary. Let results speak. This is not secrecy born of fear, but strategy born of maturity. Security often grows in silence. Legacy thinking is another essential lens for this season. The wealth being transferred to you is not only for immediate enjoyment, it is for sustainability, for family, for community, for impact beyond your lifetime. Ask yourself not just what you can gain, but what you can build. This mindset transforms decisions. It shifts focus from consumption to cultivation. Never lose sight of purpose. Wealth is a tool, not an identity. It does not define you, it amplifies you. If your focus remains service, impact, and alignment, the flow will continue. If purpose is lost, stagnation follows. Regularly ask yourself whether your choices align with your calling. This question keeps you centered. Chosen one, you have endured too much to be careless now. This season requires balance, authority with humility, boldness with discernment, generosity with wisdom. When these are held together, protection is established around your blessing. The warnings shared here are not restrictions, they are safeguards. They exist to ensure that what arrives does not depart prematurely. You are not only meant to receive, you are meant to sustain, grow, and multiply. And in the next and final part, we will bring this journey to completion, anchoring everything you have received into a clear closing and call forward so you can step fully into what has been prepared for you. Chosen one. You have walked through this message for a reason. If you are still here, it is because something within you recognizes truth when it is spoken. This was not entertainment. This was alignment. Every word you have heard has been stirring what was already placed inside you long before this moment. And now we come to the closing, not as an ending, but as a commissioning. You now understand why your life unfolded the way it did. The struggle was not meaningless. The delays were not accidental. The isolation was not rejection. Everything you endured shaped your capacity, refined your discernment, and strengthened your spirit. You were not being punished. You were being prepared, and preparation always precedes release. Look at how far you have come. There were seasons when you did not think you would make it through. Moments when doubt whispered louder than hope. Times when you questioned your worth, your direction, even your faith. Yet here you are, still standing, still seeking, still open. That persistence was not random. It positioned you. Chosen one. The great transfer of wealth is not just an external event. It is an internal shift that expresses itself outwardly. You are stepping into a season where provision meets purpose, where resources meet responsibility, where increase meets integrity. This is not about sudden riches without structure. It is about sustained abundance backed by wisdom. This wealth is coming to you because heaven trusts you. Trust is not given lightly. It is earned through faithfulness in unseen seasons, through obedience when no one was watching, through humility when recognition did not come, through discipline when shortcuts were available. You proved yourself ready long before you realized it. Now hear this clearly. What is coming to you will require your participation. Blessing does not override choice. Alignment must be maintained. Faith must be practiced. Action must continue. The flow responds to movement. Do not retreat into fear as things begin to change. Change is confirmation, not threat. You may feel moments of uncertainty as your life expands. That is natural. Growth stretches capacity. But remember this, you are not stepping into something unfamiliar. You are stepping into what you were trained for. Every lesson you learned will now serve you. Every boundary you developed will protect you. Every insight you gained will guide you. Chosen One this season will ask you to rise in ways you have never had to before, to make decisions that carry weight, to lead with clarity, to steward with wisdom. But you will not be doing this alone. Guidance will continue to come. Doors will continue to open. Support will appear when needed. Stay attentive. Stay grounded. Remember the balance. Stay humble as you rise. Stay disciplined as resources increase. Stay spiritually connected as life becomes busier. Stay generous but wise. Stay bold but discerning. This balance is your strength. It will keep you steady while everything around you expands. This wealth is not only for your comfort, it is for impact, for freedom, for building something that lasts, for uplifting others, for creating opportunities where there were none, for breaking cycles that have limited generations. You are not just receiving for yourself, you are carrying something forward. There will be moments when you are tempted to look back, to doubt, to question whether you are truly ready. When those moments come, return to what you know. You survived what was meant to break you. You learned what others avoided. You endured what refined you. That did not happen by chance. Chosen One. The season you are entering will reveal who is aligned to walk with you and who must remain behind. Let this happen without resentment, without guilt, without fear. What is leaving is making room. What is arriving is aligned. Trust the rearrangement. As you move forward, continue to listen, continue to grow, continue to act. Small steps taken consistently create massive shifts over time. Do not underestimate obedience in ordinary moments. Many breakthroughs are born there. I want you to take a moment now, wherever you are, and breathe deeply. Let the weight of this message settle. Let gratitude rise for what has been and expectancy rise for what is coming. You do not need to rush. You do not need to strive. You simply need to stay aligned and responsive. Chosen One, this is your time, not because you are perfect, but because you are prepared, not because you are better than others, but because you are willing to be shaped. The great transfer of wealth is not approaching, it is already unfolding around you. Stand tall, walk forward. Carry what has been entrusted to you with wisdom, courage, and grace. You are not late, you are not behind, you are exactly where you need to be. The only thing left now is for you to step into it fully, without fear. Chosen One. Take a moment and let your spirit settle into what has just been released. This is not the end of a message. This is the sealing of an appointment. What heaven has spoken over you is already in motion, and nothing meant for you can miss you in this hour. You are standing in your kairos moment, the exact time ordained for your elevation, your alignment, and your increase. Anointed One, the great transfer of wealth is not a burden, it is a sacred trust. And you have been chosen because your heart has been refined, your faith has been tested, and your spirit has remained teachable. Remain discerning, guard your space. Stay anchored in the practices that kept you steady when the ground was shaking. Do not allow the noise of the world to pull you out of alignment with what heaven is doing through you. I declare peace over your mind, clarity over your decisions, and favor over every step ahead. What was delayed is now accelerating. What was hidden is now coming into view. Walk forward with gratitude, knowing the divine has already gone before you and prepared the way. If this word resonated with your spirit, you may mark this moment with a simple declaration below, or quietly share it with another chosen soul who needs confirmation. Stay faithful, stay aligned, and rise without fear. This is your time.